So this is our next lesson that we're going to go over. It is called embroidery. There is a video of this lesson attached right here. So if you are accessing this or need to access this later, you can totally go back and watch the video. All right, so it says embroidery is the craft of decorating fabric or other material using a needle to apply thread or yarn. The word embroidery comes from the French word broderie, meaning embellishment. In various forms, embroidery has existed since the production of fabric. While embroidery is practiced across the world, its origin stems from China and Near East. Early embroidery can actually be traced back to Cro-Magnon days. Other early examples of embroidery are found in China, dating to the Warring States period between 5th and 3rd centuries. So if you want to read the rest of this, you're totally welcome to. I just wanted to kind of give you a little background on what embroidery is all about. Traditional Chinese embroidery looks a lot like this. If you've ever seen a real kimono in real life, this is, done with heavy hand embroidery work. Sometimes they can be a little more simple. Sometimes you would even find them on pillows and things like that. Commercial embroidery is probably what you guys are most used to. You're used to seeing things that are either done by machine, and most of the time, those machine commercial embroidered things are iron-on patches and, the designs on your baseball caps or your, whatever team caps. And you can also buy specific shirts for certain companies are done with embroidery. And those are done by machine. We are going to be doing hand embroidery like the examples here for modern hand embroidery. Now, I'm going to point out to you that a lot of these designs, especially things like this and this, are a little more on the complex side. It's a lot easier to do embroidery where you're just outlining lines. It's not impossible. It's just for beginners, it's usually a little bit easier just to do outlining and lettering. All right. So those are some examples of vocabulary that we're going to go over for this project. I'm going to show you how to do various types of stitches like a straight stitch, a back stitch, a chain stitch, a satin stitch, and a French knot. You will use an embroidery hoop, which is included in your set. It's just like the hoops that we use for circle weaving. And there is a scrap of fabric in there. That is the linen that we're going to be embroidering on. And embroidery floss is just like the thread that we use for macrame and make, friendship bracelets and stuff like that. That's exactly what those strings are used for. It's actually for embroidery. You are going to need, out of your kit, a needle, the scrap of linen, your embroidery hoop, which is about a 6-inch hoop. You'll need a pair of scissors, a pencil, and the embroidery floss. Step-by-step instructions. If you need it, you definitely are probably going to have to go back and watch these demonstrations along with starting this project. That demonstration video is going to be right here. But I'm going to read through these steps just so that you know what's going on. It says, take out the smaller 6-inch embroidery hoop and linen. Cut the linen in half. Separate the inner loop from the outer loop and lay one piece of linen over the inner loop. Loosen the outer loop screw at the top to fit over the inner loop, pulling the linen taut. So what you want is your linen to lay inside that hoop taut so that it doesn't wiggle on you while you're trying to embroider. Adjust the screw again to tighten the two hoops together, and that'll hold your linen in place. Using a pencil, lightly sketch 3 straight lines and a square the size of a quarter so that you have something to follow. Make sure you reference the video above. All right. Choose your color, cut off about 2 feet of floss and split the threads in half, also in the video. Thread the needle and knot the end. Do not double your thread like we did in sewing. If you double your thread, it's just going to make it too thick to go through the holes. Begin practicing the straight stitch, the back stitch, the chain stitch, the satin stitch, and the French knot. These are the 5 most basic stitches. Once you feel comfortable, switch to the second piece of linen, set it up as you did above, and create a design to follow for your actual project. So whatever you want to embroider for your actual project. You can use a template from online. Pinterest has a lot of free templates that you can download. The design should be something pretty simple like sailboat or flowers in the examples above, because like I said before, as a beginner, outlining will be the easiest design to do. Complete your embroidery and remove the linen from the hoop. I need that hoop back, okay, whole thing. Make a knot to hold in your last stitch and remove the needle. Fill out a critique sheet when you're all finished. For grading, out of 100 points, I'm going to be grading your practice stitching, and then I'm going to be grading your final, which I'm giving you 10 points for the design, 10 points for, or 30 points for your stitch work, 10 points for creativity, 10 for craftsmanship, 10 for your critique. Those practice stitches are going to be 30 points out of this project's grade. For submission, you are going to write your name on a slip of paper, lay it down next to your practice stitches, and take a photo. Do the same with your final project. Make sure your name is on your critique sheet and photograph it too. Upload all 3 of those to the assignment in Google Classroom.